The Falcons have signed quarterback Easton Stick. Welcome on into Falcons Today by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here, breaking down this signing because it may not seem like a big level signing, and it may not be. But you could interpret this as, is Atlanta preparing to move on from Kirk Cousins and they're bringing in another quarterback to be Michael Penix's backup? If you're thinking that, I don't think you're out of bounds for thinking that. Now, the first thing I thought of when I saw this signing was Atlanta's just preparing for OTAs and minicamp and to not have Cousins present at those things. Because right now, the only quarterbacks on the Falcons roster who would actually show up to something is Michael Penix and Emory Jones. Remember him? He went from Florida, I think, to Arizona State, then to Cincinnati. So right now, you don't have a very deep quarterback room. But Easton Stick joins this quarterback room as partially a backup to get you through OTAs and minicamp, and also possibly because you don't expect to have Kirk Cousins a part of your 2025 plan or picture. And if that is the case, which I don't think Kirk Cousins will be a Falcon come week one, I think we can all agree we'd like to have some better competition for the backup job than Emory Jones, who I think a good percentage of our viewers right now are learning for the first time. Emory Jones, the guy I bet on in Florida and let me down so many times, me never, you maybe, is on the Falcons roster. Now, some background on Easton Stick. He was the Chargers backup for a little while, 5th-round pick in 2019. We're filming this, by the way, during our live show, so we don't have all the cool bells and whistles because this news broke while we were live on the channel, and you can actually see my live reaction in a video that's going to be posted tomorrow, today, depending on when you're watching this. But Stick in his, brief career as a 2019 5th-round draft pick, he's only appeared in 6 games, but really just 5 because in 2020 he threw 1 pass at the end of the game. But in 2023, when Justin Herbert ended the year on IR, Stick started 4 games. He went 0-4. He threw 1,100 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. So not too shabby for Easton Stick. I don't have high expectations. To me, there are a couple of ways that you can interpret the signing. We talked about this is a sign of Kirk Cousins' incoming departure. I feel like that's a little bit premature, but not out of bounds. I think this is a sign of Atlanta wants to have 3 quarterbacks on the roster for voluntary practices, and they don't expect Kirk Cousins to be there. I also think this could be a sign of Atlanta does not plan to go with a quarterback in the draft. When making my mock draft, which is actually going to be next up in our live show and will come out in a few days, you'll see me take a quarterback in round 7. Now with Easton Stick, that seems somewhat unlikely, but you never quite know. So with Michael Penix's injury history, I don't think it's a bad idea to invest in a more solidified backup like Stick than, say, Emory Jones. Plus, 2019, been in the league for 5+ years. He can probably teach Penix a thing or two. Whereas Jones is learning things along with Michael Penix. So that's probably not a good situation to have the blind leading the blind. So reaction, overarching thoughts here. I like it. It's hard to be too upset with the level of a backup that you signed. Hopefully we never hear his name once in 2025. That's the mark of a good backup. But if you're looking for someone that can help, coach Penix up a little bit, teach him a thing or two, show him what to watch for in film, who's watched a lot of film, worked under Justin Herbert. Yeah, not the worst. Does he kind of look like Taylor Heineke in that picture too? A little bit, yeah. So, could have brought back Heineke. I don't know where Heineke is right now. Someone look up where Heineke is. Let me know in the comment section. So, Easton, welcome to Atlanta. Where did he go to college? North Dakota State. And he's from Omaha. So, first time in Atlanta. Heineke on the Chargers? Okay, he stayed in L.A. Easton, just get some lemon pepper wings, and you're going to love your time in ATL. So, before we wrap up today's video, quick shout-out to our friends over at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. With millions of members, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Plus, Prize Picks calls the Peach State home. So if you want to maybe support a neighbor of yours, check out Prize Picks because they put their members first. So all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. Also, every Tuesday, Prize Picks will discount several projections on the board, usually by 15 to 25%. It's called Taco Tuesday, and it's a great way to have a little bit more interest in whatever you're watching on a Tuesday. So check out Prize Picks today. The app is really easy to use. To create a lineup, all you have to do is pick more or less on a few player stats for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your money. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. Now, back to Easton Stick. Let's say this is a signing that is a signal of an incoming Kirk Cousins trade, which you probably thought I jumped to that conclusion immediately since I can be a bit reactionary, I've been told. Plus, I've been trying to push Kirk out the door. And I also just want to take this time to say I want to push Kirk out the door because I am solely interested in doing what is best to maximize Michael Penix. And so having a backup who doesn't want to be a backup, I think takes away from Penix. And at this stage, all I care about is making Penix the best version of himself. So that's why I've been the conductor. I've been like, let's power rank. Do you think I've been more of a conductor, a czar, or a chairman? Reed, what would you say is number one? Conductor number one? I'd go, czar sounds pretty badass. I'd go czar. Czar is the Russian word for king. Tsar Nicholas. Look up the Russian Revolution. Did not end very well for him. Spoiler. I'd go czar, Chairman Mao, Communist Party. I'd go czar, chairman, conductor for getting Kirk out of Atlanta. I like Kirk. Nice guy. But right now, my eyes are on Michael Penix. And I don't want a backup for Penix that doesn't want to be a backup. I want a backup for Penix that wants to be a backup. And hello, Easton Stick, because he knows he's a backup, right? He's happy to be here. He's thrilled to have another NFL contract. So, Easton Stick, once more, welcome to Atlanta. But also, if this is a trade for a Kirk Cousins, if this is a signing of an incoming Kirk Cousins trade, it's not really like NFL teams to move in such a well-mannered format, right? For example, let's say the Falcons had the framework of a Kirk Cousins trade done. I don't think they would tell the Steelers, the Browns, the Vikings, before we execute this trade, we got to get this Easton guy to Atlanta because we're terrified that we'll trade Cousins and then someone will swoop in and sign Stick. No, I think what likely happened here is as the Falcons draft plan and strategy comes together for all 7 rounds, they have made the assessment, we're not going to use one of our 5 picks on a quarterback. We don't want to have just Penix and Jones at organized team activities and at mandatory minicamp. And we don't think Kirk Cousins is a lock to be here by training camp. So let's get ahead of it a little bit and let's bring a veteran backup in like Easton, who could double as a great backup for Michael Penix if we get to that point. But I think step one was let's have 3 quarterbacks in attendance for practices during the spring. And Stick could also be a nice backup for us when we get to the Kirk Cousins trade, point in the road. So that will do it for us on this breakdown of Easton Stick. Man, Mrs. Stick and Mama Stick have to be so happy. I don't think anyone's ever done a 10-minute video talking about Easton before. So Easton, if you're watching right now, shout out to you in the comment section. But make sure to subscribe to the channel. We will be live for days 1 and 2 of the NFL draft. So if you want to get free pick-by-pick analysis, come hang out with producer Reed and myself. We're going to try and give back as much as possible. We have some fun giveaways tuned. So we have some fun giveaways planned. I know today, Junior. So hit that sub button down below and don't miss a single thing when it comes to the Dirty Birds.